there are still almost 2 passengers available to come. Now, I don't know who has to get somewhere right away, but certainly those of us that invested time to come here. And unless you're going to lunch and you want an extra hour, I think you should be provided more time to speak to grave concerns. My name is Thevik. I'm a lifetime resident of Washington. I live in Ocean Shores. I have been a commercial fisher for 44 years, and I'm the vice president of the Washington Dungeness Crab Fishermen's Association, headquartered in Westport, Washington. WPCFA is opposed to the crude by rail project and associated high-volume oil shipping from Port of Grace Harbor terminals. Tribal and non-tribal catches average $44 million a year in its vessel value and direct employment of over 650 fishers. The economic benefit to Washington coastal communities from the crab fishery is estimated to be $80 to $150 million annually. The crab fishery is just one of many natural resource-based industries in the area. 31% of Grace Harbor's workforce is employed in marine resource-dependent jobs. Grace Harbor is a major nursery area for Dungeness crab. The Department of Fish and Wildlife states that Grace Harbor is an area particularly sensitive to the adverse effect of spills. If there were to be a spill, the volume of product considered would likely lead to a catastrophic loss of habitat. And the potentially affected area could be much larger than just Grace Harbor vicinity. I remind you that the Exxon Valdez spilled 11 million gallons of oil, crude oil, and it soiled 1,300 miles of Alaska's coastline. With the 3 proposed projects, by the way, U.S. development is $42 million on site. With the 3 proposed projects, the amount of oil to be stored at one time in Grace Harbor in ships, tugs, trains, and terminals would be upward of 115 million gallons. No matter how high the paperwork is stacked, oil spill response plans and available oil spill response resources are simply not up to the task. The scoping document must include a meaningful risk assessment of an oil spill based on characteristics unique to the Grace Harbor estuary. It must include impacts on communities across the state, both upstream and downstream of the proposed project. How many jobs are at risk? Who will pay for the cost of recovery? What are risks to health and public safety? Are sites subject to liquefaction? Are sites vulnerable to tsunamis? The list goes on, and we will submit a written list which will be more inclusive. I will close with this. The Department of Ecology needs to recognize that the proponents of crude by rail are systematically putting into place, whether they know it or not, all the elements necessary for one of the worst man-made disasters our community, economy, and environment could suffer. The only reasonable conclusion is to just say no.